Sometimes in life, we need a little bit of motivation. A little bit of motivation. Now, sometimes that motivation can lead to something that's negative, or sometimes it can make you ball and win man of the match. So, guys, excuse me. Remember, guys, I just had a tooth extraction. So, again, so if my speech sounds a bit brickish, I'm sorry. Tooth extraction sucks, so I'm still recovering from having my tooth extracted. But, guys, football never sleeps. Football never sleeps. So, the content must come out. So, they put out this banner during the game. And this banner was supposed to be triggering. It's very simple. This was supposed to trigger Vini. And this was all about, again, and you see, guys, I don't want to revisit this. I really don't want to, because having to revisit this would be pointless. Having to revisit this would be pointless. My thing was Lautaro should have won it if you look for club and country. If not Lautaro, you've got to give it to Vini, because there was no player that was outstanding during the club season and the international season. That's all. I don't need to go over that. And I still believe that it's between Rodri and Michael Owen as to the two worst players to win a Ballon d'Or. I don't need to go over that. I've already said that. But let's just focus on this. So this is supposed to trigger Vini. And I'll get to the whole Vini thing, because Vini made it very clear he wanted to win the Ballon d'Or. He felt that this would have been an accumulation of the journey that he's made, from his playing against us to 2 UCL titles, La Liga titles, and then a Ballon d'Or. So it would have capped off an amazing journey for a boy Vinicius. So City fans putting this out there was like, okay, we know Vini is very emotional. He's going to react. He wears his heart on his sleeve. If we do this, we will trigger him, we'll get into his head, and that will mess him up. Because if he sees that, he's going to get emotional, he's going to get charged up, and we know that if Vini can be charged up and very reactive, it can lead to a red card, as we saw in that Valencia game that he almost cost Real Madrid. So you see, for fans, the tactic makes sense. Because when you're a fan, you want to use everything in your arsenal to try and mess up said player. That's what you want to do. You want to do everything in part of my mess up said player. So some players viewing this, they're trigger you. And you're like, and then you may break out because you are trying too hard. You're trying too hard to force the issue. You're being too emotional. You're not playing right with your emotions. But I think, again, watching The Last Dance, and Michael Jordan was a guy who, he needed that chip on his shoulder. He needed any little thing to motivate him. And that's just why he is one of the greatest sports people of all time, because he always had that chip on his shoulder, and he always had that little bit of motivation that just gave him that edge over his opponents. And he needed that. Even if the stuff he used to motivate himself wasn't really a real thing, he made it a real thing because that is what helped him to win. And those great sports people, they use everything they can to make them win. So how the story should have gone is, Vini sees this, he's pissed off, he starts fouling guys, he starts screaming at the referee, and he eventually gets a red card. City win the game because they beat a 10-man Real Madrid, and now people are saying, Vini, goal and Arabic, get out to freaking Saudi. That's not exactly how the game went. Vini was the best player on the pitch. He was key in getting Real Madrid back in the game. And he was the main reason why Real Madrid won the game, because he was fully influential in that winning goal in injury time. This is the Vini that we want to see. This is the Vini that is that Ballon d'Or winner. This is the Vini that is one of the best players in the world, who single-handedly can decide a game by himself. Because see, those are exceptional players who, this guy is a game changer. He can really change the game by himself on his lonesome. And we can see visually how he does that. And so because again, when it comes to sports, I say sports is like 30% physical and like 70% mental, psychological. You can do great things in sports if you believe you can and if you put your mindset in certain places. Sometimes, you know how they say like mind over body? Sometimes the mind can make things that the body can't do. I remember there was a story, I think it's a real story, where this mother, I think she saw her baby trapped under a car. And this was a regular middle aged mother. And because she just went into mother mode and protect my child, she literally was able to lift up the car and rescue her baby. If that was any normal situation, she wouldn't even think to do that because she just knows in her mind that, look, I can't lift up a car. But because it was in an emergency and she has to be in protective mode, her mind made her body believe that you can lift up that car. So for Vini, it's literally about getting your mindset into, oh, they're trying to trigger me. I am going to use this as a motivational factor to really play at the highest level. Because it's a crossroads. You can either use that to trigger you, to make you overly emotional and harm your team, or you can use it to as a motivational factor to play at a very high level to then get against them and be like, nah, 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 guess who's won? And Vinny took the nah, 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 nah route of like, I won, you lost. WL. So that's it. And even so, Vinny even talked about that. And I want to get back to Ballon d'Or, but I want to notice what Vinny said. So, visual on the fans, the banner only gave me more motivation than their fans, so they can do what they want. Maybe they should focus more on chanting for their team. You see, I get what Vinny says, but Vinny, it's football fans. Anything they can use to trigger you, they will do. Since they know that you were pissed off that the Rodri won the Ballon d'Or, they're going to use that against you. If I was a City fan, I would do the exact same thing. 100%. So I defend what City fans did. The unfortunate thing is that it just didn't work. Of course, they should do it and use everything in your power to help your team because the fans, they're the 12th man. And if I'm a manager, I need my fans to use everything to offset the opposition, specifically to mess up the opposition team's best player. Anything you can do, bring up their past. Were they alcoholics? Did they domestic abuse? How are they seeing a psychoanalyst? Are they a little bit crazy? Anything you can do. Did they eat a goldfish? Make a goldfish chant. Anything you could do to offset them, boom. But this is what I wanted to say to Vini. And this was my plea to Vini. Players not judged by the Ballon d'Or. Messi could have never won a single Ballon d'Or. He'd still be one of the greatest players of all time. Pele never won the Ballon d'Or. He's one of the greatest players of all time. So Maradona never won the Ballon d'Or. He is one of the greatest players of all time that has done some of the greatest things we've ever seen on the football pitch. So the Ballon d'Or doesn't define you. And I think that Vini has to realize that what defines you, what is your legacy, is what you do on that pitch. I'll give you an amazing saying. Awards are given, they're not earned. Awards are given, they are not earned. Because an award, someone decides whether they want to give it to you or not. That's Champions League trophy, that's La Liga trophy, that's Premier League, that's AFCON, that's Euros, that's Asia Cup, that World Cup. No one gives that to you. You have to go out there and earn that trophy. You have to go out there and earn that trophy. And for Vini, you have earned that La Liga title. You have earned that Champions League. And that is what will define you. If Vini never wins a Ballon d'Or, does that erase how pivotal he's been to the 2 UCLs, to La Liga, or 3 La Liga titles that Real Madrid have won? No. So even if Vini goes through never winning a Ballon d'Or, it doesn't take away of him being pivotal in those La Liga titles and those Champions League titles. How many players can say they've scored in 2 Champions League finals? 2. Rodri scored in 1. Vini has scored in 2 Champions League finals. How many people can say that you were literally a vital key reason why a team won a Champions League? You can even arguably say 2, but especially 1, the one last season. So for Vini, my thing for him is when you focus and play your game, you are one of the best players in the world. Now, we need you to bring this to Brazil because, Vini, if you bring this to Brazil maybe do have a chance in 2026. Maybe they do. But what I just want Vini to do is because when Vini is Vini, when he's Vini, he is one of the most dangerous attacking players in the world. And again, there are very few players right now that can decide a game as an individual. Very few players. Vini is one of those select few players that can decide a game by himself. When Vini is at his best, there are few other players in the world that can decide a game. So this is not about your technique football. It's about being effective and about winning. This is the winning game. This isn't the play well game, performance game. This is the winning game. So for Vini, my thing is forget the Ballon d'Or. Forget these award shows. Forget all this trash that the media tries to make important. The Ballon d'Or is not important. It was never important. What's important is that Copa America, is that World Cup, is that La Liga title, and is that Champions League. That is legacy. Ballon d'Or is not football legacy. Football legacy are trophies. If you come through and you just show me some Ballon d'Ors, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Where are those trophies? What did you do to earn those trophies? That's how you are judged. It is what you do on that football pitch and those trophies you win. That's the key thing. Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.